What's up, everybody? In this video I'm going to show you how I did the rear differential seal, got it all done, and I'll just show you my process. Keep in mind this isn't a how-to do video because I'm not a mechanic and I don't want to lead you in the wrong direction, and any repairs you attempt after watching my channel, do it at your own risk, because I'm not here to give you mechanical advice, just to show you my process. All right, cool. Enjoy the show. All right, for this job, you just need simple hand tools, an oil catch can, a 1/2 inch ratchet to pop this off, and the one on the bottom for the drain, 12mm socket. I'm gonna use this extended one, and that's to take these off. So first thing you got to do is empty the differential, which is pretty simple. Oh, and pump to put the new gear oil, which is this, and some brake cleaner to clean it, brand new razor blade, and of course the new seal. But yeah, let's get started. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pop open this, and actually I think I'm gonna go get an extension. All right, I got the extension, and that's just for leverage, nothing else. Just the weight bar I use to extend. Here, I'll go out and that's just like a breaker bar, a cheater bar, I guess you would call it. Well, the level in there is good, so. Not too bad. So just want to let that oil drain out. Just wipe this down with the paper towel for now. And there was very little like metal fragments on there. That's a magnet to catch metal fragments. So once that's drained out, and after this plug is cleaned, you just want to put it back in. So I'm just using some brake cleaner, or brake parts cleaner for this. So that's gonna drip for a minute until it's empty. I want to get this as clean as possible, so I got this wire brush. I'm just gonna lightly do that, but thought I had a smaller wire brush, but whatever, this is gonna be okay. If you're doing this, if you use a brush like this, just do it lightly. There's just a lot of little particles inside of the threads. Just spray that off. If you still see like a little bit, just like a little pick like this, and just and that's pretty good. I mean, pretty clean. Just make sure you get all of that out. Still dripping a little bit, so I'm just gonna let it keep dripping until there's no drips. Once I don't see any drips anymore, I'll put the plug back in. It looks like it's still dripping a little bit, but I think that's probably good enough. I'm gonna put the drain plug back in. It's nice and clean now. Move this stupid chain out of my face. All right, and it should tighten up pretty decently by hand. And the manual says that it's 43 to 72 foot-pounds of torque. My torque wrench, it's a little off. I checked it with the little scale thing. I don't know what they're called. So I put it at 55, so that should be around 51 foot-pounds of torque with this torque wrench how it is. I'm using this, so that's gonna throw it off a little bit. So I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be about 49 to 50 foot-pounds. So that's good, torque down. Now I just have to unbolt these. So I'm gonna start on this one here. And it's important to keep the drain pan here because there's still gonna be a little bit of oil in there. So right now, I'm just loosening them, and some of them might be covered in some oil from the leaks. Okay, so now that those are all loose, I'm gonna loosen these two top ones. These are pretty much the reason I'm changing the seals because there is some leaks on the sides and on the bottom that I noticed, and it's just kind of proper maintenance. I checked the front one, there isn't any leaks when I took it off. And like I said, I've never done this before, so just kind of gotta work it and figure it out. So there it goes. All right. Right now, you want to kind of look at it and see if there's any noticeable damage. All right, I've got my little flashlight. I'm just gonna look in there and see if I see anything like that's apparently damaged. Oil doesn't look horrible. Seen some videos where the oil comes out and it's very sludgy. A lot of metallics, but this doesn't really look too bad here. Hopefully I have enough spray cleaner, because I do not want to go anywhere. But if I have to, I will have to get in my car and go. Oh, that one's gone. I'm not sponsored, but this stuff works good, and these cans last a decent amount of time. Let's get your brand new razor, flat razor blade like this, and just kind of go around the surface. Okay, I read 220 grit is good, so that's what I have. I'm gonna shove this here so it don't leak while I do this. All right, I think that is pretty good. Next step is I'm gonna clean this, which isn't too bad actually. So first thing first, just gonna wipe it all off. For this part, I'm gonna use a plastic scraper. And plastic won't scratch the metal. And right now, all I'm doing is trying to take off any gunk or residual stuff on here before I spray it down and like wipe it and clean it. I learned how to work on cars and stuff from my grandpa, who wasn't a great teacher. He mostly yelled. That's kind of how he would help. He'd make me help him, and most of the time that I would help, he would be yelling and cussing at me and saying that I didn't know how to hold a flashlight and whatever. But I did learn a lot of things from holding that flashlight and from, you know, doing things that he didn't want to do, wrenching things that he didn't want to wrench, and, you know, stuff like that. But he was kind of a control freak, so it was a little tough. Growing up with that guy, but he did teach me a lot of stuff, and I do some of the stuff he taught me. I try not to lose my head though and get angry. Also, I don't have any kids or grandkids that want to help me. I don't have any grandkids, but I do have kids. But I don't have anyone that wants to or is capable of helping me. So I do it all on my own. I don't really have anyone to yell at. Sometimes I do get frustrated as all hell though, I'm not gonna lie. Working on cars and trucks is not easy. It's not for the faint of heart. Doing jobs like the oil pan gasket replacement, that wasn't easy because you have to lower the front differential, which is really heavy. It's hard to figure out on your own. Yeah, it's just, it is frustrating, but at the same time, it's rewarding because if you do a job and do it right and fix something or stop leaks or whatever you're trying to do, it is a rewarding feeling when you're done. It's like doing things with your hands, and instead of paying someone else to do it, you could do it yourself. Like, if you could do that, then that's freaking great. Just like I said with this part, you take your time. You don't want to ruin anything, man. If you do something wrong and ruin it, it just sucks. And that's a good way to ruin your whole day sometimes. The one thing, I don't get too stressed about things, but when my cars are not right, like if my cars are not doing good, or like they're broken down or something's wrong, like that stresses me out because it's hard to, it's just hard to deal with. It's some repairs could be expensive. And it's just, sometimes it could just be stupid, like if you break down on the side of the road or something, that's a really stressful situation to be in. I've broke down on the side of I-25 in rush hour, and it just really sucks. That's one thing that does stress me out is car stuff. Like when your car breaks down. Doing this kind of stuff here, this is kind of therapeutic to me. This is just preventative maintenance. This is a leak. This is not, I didn't break down on the side of the road. I didn't necessarily need to do this. It was leaking, but it's not like it was like a huge leak. But if something's leaking in a car or a truck, you should always fix it. There's a lot of people out there that ignore the problem, and then it becomes a bigger problem. And when it becomes a bigger problem, that's when it becomes more expensive and harder to deal with. A lot of people will scrap their cars, put them in the junkyard, and get another one, which is very expensive. It's not cost effective at all. And quite frankly, it's pretty stupid. Next thing I'm gonna do is mate the gasket onto this part. This is the gasket for a D21 from Valpro. It's just like this paper gasket, which should be totally fine. That's what was on it before. What I like to do is make sure all the holes match up, which they do. Then this is something that my grandfather used to use. gasket shellac compound. I use this on all my gaskets. It works. Okay, with this gasket shellac, it's really thick, really sticky, like molasses. It's just like any shellac, honestly. What I do is I just kind of do I don't want this to fall in the dirt and get dirt in it, but what I do is I just do a thin layer, and just around that. Yeah, my grandpa swore by shellac for anything. So then that's a thin layer of shellac on there. And I just put that on there. And then I'm gonna let that kind of get stuck on there, stick pretty good. It takes a few minutes, but line up the bolt holes. Same thing around the differential mating surface. This stuff isn't RTV, so just have to have a thin layer. And you just want to make sure it goes on all of the parts, you know, like just everywhere where it's gonna mate. You don't want leaks. That's the whole point of doing this job. So now that that's good, done. You got to remember which way the plug was. Also, I'm just gonna let it sit for a few more minutes and throw my trash. So to clean these bolts, I'm just gonna spray a little bit of brake cleaner and just clean it. Now that that's good, I'm gonna slide this up. And that one. Start getting these bolts in. So now I'm just gonna get them hand tight in a crisscross pattern. I think that's it. Next, I'm gonna tighten them the same way, but more tight. But I'm just gonna go gradual. In a crisscross pattern. So I'm not torquing them down, I'm just getting them hand tight. And then just check that they're all tight by hand. They're like tight enough that you can't loosen that by hand. But and for now, I'm gonna clean the fuel plug. I'm cleaning it, and it's really not that bad. But I'm gonna do the same thing in the threads as I did for the drain plug here, because I'm gonna let this shellac dry. I don't remember how long it takes. I think it's an hour, but let me see if it says on it. It doesn't really say. Plus, I have to find the torque specs for these bolts, because it doesn't have them in the repair manual. An hour maybe, and then when I come back, I will hopefully I'll have the torque specs for this thing, for these. I'll be able to torque it down to spec. So I'm pretty much done. But once I torque it down, these bolts down, I will then fill it up with the oil, the gear oil. I have this pump here to do that. So I will put the oil inside and then I'll pump it in. Okay, I'm back. So what I found is that it's 12 foot-pounds for these bolts. So I already torqued them down, but I want to double check. My torque wrench is a little off, so I have to put it at 13 foot-pounds to make it be at exactly 12. Okay, and the spec for that calls for 43 through 72, so I'm just kind of meeting it in the middle at 55. Okay. That was 1.5 quarts. Showing that it's full, so I guess it's full. So full off of 1.5 quarts. Well, hopefully that's right. Fuel plug, it's clean. Okay. All right, guys, I'm pretty much done. So I'm gonna take it for a test drive. Come back. I'm gonna take this out, check the levels when it's on the ground. If the level is right after I take it for a drive, then it's good. If not, I'll just fill it up. But yeah, peace out. Thanks for watching.